Thank you, Zubin. You are watching ESPN's Feast Week presented by Lowe's. We are here at TD Arena for the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic, and we have reached the championship game of the Low Country bracket. It's the Utah State Aggies out of the Mountain West Conference taking on the Davidson Wildcats from the Atlantic 10, a couple of 5-0 teams who won their semifinal games here on Friday in Charleston to get to this point. And welcome, everybody. With Chris Patola, I'm Doug Sherman. Glad you're with us for what should be a highly entertaining game. Both these teams go deep in the roster, and both have very much high-powered offenses that can put it up in a hurry.
They do. Both were very impressive in their semifinal wins. Like, won those games going away. The offense is where it starts. These teams are deep, they're balanced, and they run really good stuff, and they're both shooting the ball really, really well. For Utah State and defensively for Davidson, it starts with Mason Falslev. This dude is a dog. What a dog. He's tough. He's one of the best players in the Mountain West, and he scores all over the floor. 24 points, so efficient in their win the other night against Tulane. He does it on defense, turns that into offense. He is a dynamic scorer, Doug.
Meanwhile, for Davidson, they have so many various pieces. Their leader in minutes per game comes off the bench. He's a redshirt freshman point guard, and Nick Koval. You really don't know if you're Matt McKillop where you're going to get your offense from night to night.
You don't, but the system is what it is. You know, they're going to space shooters. They're playing tonight against a very good and very aggressive matchup zone of Utah State's. So you're trying, if you're Matt McKillop, you're trying to generate what all coaches are talking about these days. You're trying to generate gravity. You can do that with the shooters, with cutting, and with your pace. And so I think tonight, how they execute against that matchup zone, they got to take care of the ball, and you got to be patient.
And the thing Coach McKillop and his staff during practice yesterday kept saying over and over, violent cuts. He wants funky, violent cuts against this matchup zone. What does that mean?
It means when you cut to the basket, you're going hard trying to draw two defenders. And if you draw two defenders, then obviously somebody is open.
And it's Utah State with the basketball first. The team from Logan, Utah has Drake Allen, who is definitely a pass-first point guard with a rare shot from the perimeter to get the scoring underway.
Only his second three of the year, but if you go under, he will shoot that. And poorly defended by Parker Fredrickson.
Well, Drake Allen leads the nation at nearly 3-1 in terms of assists to field goal attempts. He averages better than 7 assists per game. This is Sam Brown. Gets it inside. The turnaround is missed by Sean Logan. Falslev the rebound, and here comes this veteran Utah State team. Tucker Anderson sets the ball screen, gets it back. Just over a minute gone. Falslev spins into the paint, goes back to the right hand and lays it in.
Last 2 years, he has shot 60% from two. He is so good driving the basketball, really strong and really efficient when he gets it around the rim.
But he shoots it well enough on the perimeter that you can't just sag off him. Here he is with another defensive rebound. Falslev dribbles up. Carson Templin trying to impose his will. Back outside to Allen. He has already taken 2 threes. He had only attempted 3 all season coming in.
Mason Falslev just continues to trend. I mean, you know, former football player. He's a hell of an athlete. A hell of an athlete. And he shows you the dexterity, a little footstep, a little dance step in the paint.
And again, he was offered by multiple power conference football programs like Utah, like BYU, but he wanted to play hoops at Utah State. Sam Brown gets Davidson on the board.
All of these guys for Davidson can shoot it. They will all face up, shoot a three. And as a team, collectively, they are one of the best percentage-wise nationally.
Yeah, top 10, well over 40% as a team. Cutting off that pass, Josh Scovins. Logan, around and out. We have yet to mention MJ Collins, number 2 in blue. Here he is with the basketball. His first shot. He's got it. He is the leading scorer for Utah State so far this year. It's better than 17 a game. There's a steal by Allen.
Collins is shooting the leather off the ball to start this year. Looks so comfortable transferring in from Vanderbilt.
Better than 60% from beyond the arc so far this season for Collins. Foul as Templin went to the floor, trying to come up with that basketball. And so that is his first personal. There's a look at the fourth-year head coach of the Davidson Wildcats, Matt McKillop. He succeeded his father, Bob, who, of course, had been the bench boss at Davidson for 33 years before retiring in 2022.
His dad is one of the legends in the game. A coach's coach, the Silver Fox. And Matt has done a really nice job, and he's put this roster together really, really well this year.
J.Q. Roberts' first shot attempt is off the mark. Quickly back the other way, the Aggies.
You keep graying up, Doug. We're going to be calling you the Silver Fox.
It's coming. Ball will stay down at this end, 16:34 remaining in the first of this championship game of the Low Country bracket. First time this Charleston Classic has split its 18 field into 2 separate brackets. Collins given too much room in the corner, and he's got 6 quick points.
That can't happen. You've got to know where MJ Collins is. He's shooting the ball too well. You've got to have an awareness of where he is at all times.
He had 21 in Friday's win over Tulane, 6 so far here tonight. Sam Brown, who was quiet in Friday's win over Boston College, has 5 early points. All of Davidson's offense so far.
Got to be strong with the ball. You know, Utah State, they want to heat it up. They want to have great ball pressure on Davidson tonight. I think they can get after these Davidson guards.
Devin Brown chases Collins off the three-point line, forces a tough shot, and it'll be Wildcats basketball when we return. But it's the Aggies off to the quick start here in this championship game. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere. With 15 members of his family down from the upstate, the Clover, South Carolina native MJ Collins off to a quick start tonight.
He's a natural scorer, and he's comfortable here at Utah State this year because he's one of their main guys. He was a role player at Vanderbilt last year, and I don't know, Jared Calhoun, the head coach at Utah State, has shown him some love and given him some love and made him feel like he's an important part of this program at Utah State. And I think it's meant a lot to him. And you and I were talking to MJ yesterday. He just, he's found a home, and he's had to go a long way in order to do it, being from South Carolina.
Yeah, a couple of years at Virginia Tech for Mike Young, where, again, he was a role player, more of a defender. Last year at Vandy, as you mentioned, for Mark Byington. Very good team, NCAA tournament team, averaged 7.5 points per game. He had other power conference offers coming out of the portal this past spring, but chose not to worry about the level, but to go to Utah State because it felt right. I mean, Ohio State, Mississippi State, other schools wanted him. But here, off the turnover, comes Gary Clark.
Turnovers have been a problem for Davidson this year, especially against full court pressure. Davidson was up 20 on Bowling Green prior to coming to this tournament, and they only ended up winning that game by 4. Bowling Green just threw on a full court press and really turned Davidson over. The one thing Davidson did in their game against BC, which is a really aggressive, physical half-court man-to-man, is they took good care of the basketball. But you could tell in that practice for Utah State yesterday, they felt like they could get after these Davidson guards and slap it on that full court press. You can already tell Davidson uncomfortable.
And clearly that was a thought of Matt McKillop and his staff during their practice yesterday as well. And you wonder who's best suited to handle that pressure. It seems like it's the redshirt freshman Nick Koval. He's in the ball game now with the basketball. Devin Brown, the freshman who has looked so good here this weekend, gets it back out to Koval. Shot clock at 5. Brown trying to create, goes behind the back. Here's Koval, puts it up with a hand in his face, barely nicked the iron. And a foul called underneath.
That's great defense. I mean, other than, not securing the defensive rebound, a lot of times you'll hear a matchup zone and you'll think it's soft. Not with Utah State. They get into the basketball. They are very, very tight with their switches. It looks like a man-to-man, but they switch everything. And they're very precise in what they're doing.
Josh Scovin's double teamed, tries to get it out, can't do it, taken away by Anderson. That's the third Wildcats turnover.
And they will automatically double. They call them random attacks. They will automatically double if that ball gets to the baseline, if it's driven there or passed there.
Head coach Jared Calhoun out of the Bob Huggins tree. He spent a number of years on staff at West Virginia. Collins tries for his third three, not this time. On the box out, we've got a foul as Gary Clark, who averages nearly a double-double, was trying to get that loose ball. And that call goes against Clark. Anderson and Allen leave. No, it is on Roberts. It's on J.Q. Roberts. I beg your pardon. So here is the inbound to Clark. Misses after the spin. Hunter Adam, the leading scorer so far this year for Davidson off the bench, gets the rebound. Adam is number 12 with the basketball now. Got the mustache. Being defended by Colby King. And once again, hounding the ball pressure. An offensive foul called against Roberts Blooms. The turnover tally is up to 4.
Both these teams are deep, but all these guys come in off the bench with a starter's ego. Like, they all think they should be playing.
Well, I made a comment in Friday's game on the broadcast that said something about Davidson's B squad. That caught Coach McKillop's attention. He mentioned it yesterday in practice, and you do get that sense that 10, 11, 12 deep, they all feel like they're worthy of being on the 18. That kind of summarizes the start to the year for Gary Clark. Gets his own miss and lays it in. 15-5 Utah State. Koval thought about it, gives it up to Adam. Way off the mark, long rebound, and here come the Aggies. Davidson now only 2 of 8 from the floor, Chris.
Yeah, and I don't think they've gotten a clean look yet.
King gets rid of the defender, got a good look, couldn't finish. Flying in for the rebound, J.Q. Roberts. And a foul at midcourt given up by Adlon El-Amin, a freshman from Arlington, Virginia.
Utah State's not going to help a lot. They're going to stay home on these shooters, and so there's going to have to be some individual plays here that these Davidson offensive players create. And so far, you mentioned violent cuts early, trying to draw 2 defenders. We haven't seen a lot of that. It's been a lot of one-on-one.
Second consecutive foul committed by Adlon El-Amin against a ball handler who was nowhere near scoring position, and so the freshman will be replaced in the lineup by the Air Force transfer Luke Kearney. Ian Plateo, the very promising freshman big for Davidson, number 16 in white, is checked into the game for the first time. Little better look that time by Hunter Adam. Here's Plateo, dumps it off. Blooms lays it in.
Well, that's been their best offense so far, is going and getting the offensive rebound, because you thought that look by Adam was good. It was still well contested. I mean, every shot has had a hand and a face.
I meant that it was better than his first, which was really not a good look. But I hear you. And how about Plateo? Immediately upon coming into the game, he impacts Davidson in a positive manner. Now playing defense against Terry, just walling up, makes it tough on him, and it's a shot clock violation. How long's he been in the game? Not even a minute. And on both ends, Plateo shows what he can do.
Well, he's a legit 7 feet tall, and he's been out of the lineup. He had mono, and so this is his third game that he has played. Incredibly skilled, is going to be a star.
Bloom's going against the freshman point guard Elijah Perryman. Wow.
You know, again, there is no help. Like against good three-point shooting teams, you can only help when it's absolutely necessary. So look at all those guys staying home around the perimeter. And so you end up with an individual move, a great individual move by Roberts Blooms. But you see the defensive philosophy there for Utah State. We are not allowing clean threes from Davidson.
And again, Chris, as you talk about, the Wildcats as a team shooting better than 41% from the three-point line.
Well, the best teams at defending the three-point line are teams that take away the most attempts. They don't allow comfortable threes.
Drake Allen back at the point for Utah State. Out there with Colby King. Mason Fulslev, second team All-Mountain West Conference a year ago. King fouled on the three. Nick Koval not so sure, but he's going to pick up the personal as we head to break. Davidson back to within 5 in this championship game. The Lahaina Civic Center, as always, will be jumping on Feast Week. The Southwest Maui Invitational gets underway in just a matter of hours. 2:30 Eastern Time right here on ESPN2. 25th ranked North Carolina State will take on Seton Hall. This is one of the best weeks of the college basketball season as far as I'm concerned. Get you ready for the heart of the college hoop season.
It does. You know, my favorite part of the Lahaina Civic Center are the soft rims. Softest rims in all of basketball.
Now, Army did not play.
We didn't play
in the Maui
No, but
Invitational.
I was there twice when I was on staff at Duke.
You got shots up? You
Absolutely.
Okay.
They had to escort me off. All right, Spatola, that's enough. But they are I'm telling you, they are the softest rims in basketball.
Okay. Now, I don't have anywhere near the ability or experience that you do shooting on shots around the country or shooting baskets at different places around the country. But I, like you, like to get shots up when the opportunity comes. And I tell you, I have never enjoyed shooting more than I did a few years ago than at Cameron. I had the place to myself for 30 minutes and just shot. Thankfully, Coach K didn't know I was there. And I'm telling you, I thought that was the best gym to shoot in. I don't know about the rims, but the rims didn't come into play much while I was shooting.
That's very unique. Very unique background. Because they're not stanchions. The baskets there hang from the ceiling, as you know. I'm surprised the alarm bells didn't go off, though. 30 minutes unfettered.
The visiting team was late to get there for their shoot-around. And, of course, I was on time. So, hey, there's a rack of balls right there. I'm not just going to sit here. Think about how lucky we are to be able to go. You go and play. You've played in these places. But for a fan like me, to get that chance, I truly have gotten shots up pretty much every arena I've been to. Blooms from way downtown, and what a revelation. He's been coming off the bench. 8 of the 13 Davidson points to draw the Wildcats within 5.
He is a microwave. He's a little bit out of his mind, but he stays hyper aggressive.
Said with all due affection.
No question.
Of course.
I love a guy like that.
Fulslev with 5 on the timer, uses a screen on the short roll, gets it to Clark, extra pass to the corner. How about that? Drake Allen now has taken 3 threes tonight. And the foul goes against Clark.
Well, sometimes you're open for a reason. That one there was just great ball movement, and he ended up being with the hot potato, the last guy to catch it. That's Gary Clark, that was another major priority. He's been one of the best offensive rebounders in the country. He's a workhorse on the interior. And Davidson putting two bodies on him. You got to kind of gang rebound around Gary Clark.
Well, he leads the country. He is tied for the most early in the year with 3 double-doubles already this season. Look at the 7-footer, although he had it poked away from behind. Allen didn't like the call, but it's his first and already the 7th on Utah State. And so Plateo at the line to shoot 1-1.
It's a long time left in this half for Davidson to be in the bonus.
Not so good on the free throw. In just his 3rd collegiate game, he's now 4 for 9.
But overall, as you know, Doug, Davidson a very good free throw shooting team. So you're talking over 10 minutes left in this half in the bonus.
And just as problematic, Clark has just picked up his 2nd foul, so he goes to the Aggies bench. Averaging 13 points and nearly 10 rebounds a game, making about 80% of his shots from the floor. This is Hunter Adam at the line. First point tonight for the redshirt junior from Christchurch, New Zealand. We're going to hear your accent again tonight.
You'd like me to put another shrimp on the barbie.
4th year in the program for Hunter Adam. Came to the States and enrolled in January of 23. Didn't play that season, but he has evolved into a big piece of one of the better teams, at least at this point in the year, in the Atlantic 10 Conference. Colby King uses the screen to get a good look. Falslav got a piece of it, but it's Davidson basketball. R.J. Greer has come in for Davidson, number 7 in white. Here's Blooms. That's a pass. That's a Wittenberg pass right there.
Well, because these guys are staying home, and again, Roberts Blooms is out of his mind. He's going to stay aggressive. But that offensive glass has opened up because these guys are getting runs. If you're going to stay home on those 3-point shooters, they are going right by their defenders.
And with the aggression of Blooms, it's a 12-3 Davidson run to cut it to a 1-point game. Falslev no, and once again, Plateo, seemingly a head taller than everyone else on the floor, grabs the rebound. Koval's pass taken away. Falslev is one of the best at stealing the basketball in the country, and it leads to the breakaway dunk by Drake Allen.
And that's the problem with turnovers against Utah State. They are so good in transition. They're averaging over 20 points a game in transition. It's a big part of their offense.
Plateo couldn't get the runner to go. Here comes Allen again. Utah State has led by as many as 10. Great look and the finish. Allen the assist. Templin and 1 with a chance for 3.
Utah State had 9 steals in that game the other night against Tulane, and they converted off of those. There's Falslev. He had 4 steals, 4 of their 9 the other night. And so those turnovers, especially that baseline, trying to throw it out, it just leads to a run out. And Utah State has been so good at converting.
And Allen in their win Friday, 7 points, 8 assists, 3 steals. Seven different Aggies have scored so far tonight. MJ Collins back in the game, defending Koval. Parker Fredrickson returns for Davidson, number 5, the Wake Forest transfer. Collins pokes the ball away, and here come the Aggies again. Defense turned into offense. His 4th slam of the season gives the Aggies this 7-point lead.
Man.
And here we go again. 8 unanswered points on the breakaway by Allen.
It's uncanny. It's thievery, and highest level. Taking your cookies, your lunch money, whatever you got on you. Utah State, a theft lesson. Utah State already has 6 steals in this game. They are not in a matchup zone. They are playing a matchup zone, which means they are playing really, really hard. And they are so good at reading where's the most likely next pass going, especially Allen and Falslev. Utah State had 9 steals in that game the other night against Tulane. Allen and Falslev had 7 of them. They are just always alert to where the ball is going next.
And if one of them doesn't get you, the other's going to, and they work in tandem so well. 6 steals so far tonight, 3 of them by Drake Allen. And then one apiece by Collins, Falslev, and Clark. How does Davidson handle that pressure? Once again, the post defense this time by Allen leads to the run out by Collins, and a chance for 3. Wash, rinse, and repeat.
Just very predictable. I mean, there's 2 guys there. I don't know where Colville's throwing the basketball. You're throwing it into double coverage, which, of course, for a quarterback is a no-no. They've got to... You got to loosen up this defense down on the other end by either penetration, 2 feet in the paint. We talked about cuts. We haven't seen those hard cuts that Matt McKillop was talking about to loosen up the defense. Just very predictable in their movements and their passes.
Collins with 11. And that, by the way, was the 4th steal already on the last possession for Drake Allen. Brown. Drive and dish, Fredrickson, but a great closeout by Collins. Now Brown will try along that baseline, and again, this swarming matchup zone defense for Utah State, just making it a nightmare for the Wildcats.
And they're also physically overwhelming Davidson. You could tell they are more athletic, they are bigger, and they are more physical.
Templin can't get the roll. Second attempt, no good for Zach Keller. Stovins to Brown. Way long. That rebound bounced off the back of the head of Templin into the hands of Falslev. And they wait for Drake Allen, their point guard, to get back into the front court. Collins thinking about the 3. Not that time. Stovins picks up the rebound. Blooms not shy. Wow. 11 points for the sophomore from Riga, Latvia. Allen kicks it back out. Templin wide open. Stovins wound up on the deck. No call. Here come the Wildcats. Brown is fouled by MJ Collins.
Well, Roberts Blooms, I think we've made the point, is not shy, and just kind of a rare defensive mistake in his first half from Utah State. Carson Templin caught in that matchup, thought maybe he was going to be bailed out of it, and just left Blooms.
JQ Roberts back in. Manny Joseph comes in for Davidson, and there's a good look at Sam Brown, who can claim both his father Brett and his grandfather Bob as members of the New England Basketball Hall of Fame. His father Brett, the more well-known member of the basketball family, former NBA head coach, who, from what we hear from Matt McKillop, is around frequently. And it's neat to hear Matt McKillop talk about the basketball mind of his guard, Sam Brown, that they can talk on a different level than maybe he can with other players. That Sam has absorbs so much basketball knowledge and can apply it. 5 to shoot. King comes over, ties him up. On the possession arrow, it'll stay at this end.
It's an automatic. If a ball handler turns his back, somebody is coming to double. And there, Brown just, on that spin move, Colby King was on the spot to tie it up.
Utah State was picked second in the preseason poll in the Mountain West Conference behind San Diego State. Off to a 5-0 start to the year for the 5th time in 8 years. Timeout with 5:51 remaining in the first half. Let's look ahead to this women's basketball matchup on ESPN2 and the ESPN app. It'll be Tuesday, December 2nd. Number 1 UConn returns to Tampa, where the Huskies won their 12th national championship back in April, to take on a USF team that has never beaten the UConn women. 34-0 all-time UConn is against the Bulls. Coverage begins 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. With Chris Patola, I'm Doug Sherman. 3.6 on the shot clock. The lob is mishandled by Roberts. And once again, the Utah State defense comes away with the basketball.
It was a good design out of the timeout by Matt McKillop. You just got to execute it. Pass and catch.
Colby King tries to dump it off. Anderson came to the basketball but couldn't control it. It goes out of bounds back to Davidson. And this should not be a surprise that Utah State is in the championship game here in Charleston. As Zubin Mehenti talked about in the pregame, this Aggies program has won 3 MTEs, multi-team events, in the last 4 years. They won it in Myrtle Beach in 21, the Cayman Islands in 23, and then last year in the NIT season tip-off. Falslev takes it away. Says, give me that, and here come the Aggies again. King waits for the flyby and lays it in.
And again, it starts with the double. Drake Allen coming over to double J.Q. Roberts leads to the turnover and another run out. Points off of turnovers are killing Davidson.
Joseph no. And King, who's another one with a lot of friends and family, have made the trip. For him coming up from Pompano Beach, Florida, to attend this Charleston Classic in person. He flashes to the top of the key. 4.5 minutes to go in the first. Falslev turns the corner. Little floater, no. Couple of attempts near the rim, couldn't finish. Here comes Brown. Blooms. He's been a one-man show offensively when they can possess the basketball. That's just their 8th made field goal. They've turned it over 10 times.
Well, he's been the strongest with the ball when he's had it in his hands.
Well, he has already matched his career high with about 4 minutes to go in the first half. 13 points out of the 22 for Davidson. King drives. The bounce pass mishandled by Keller. Looked like Blooms might have gotten a hand on it. It goes out of bounds and takes us to break with 3:38 to go first half. The Aggies up 9 over the Wildcats. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's.
Seth, Malcolm Zubin coming up at the half. UConn rolls, Duke rolls, but toughness lies ahead. That's coming up at the half. What are we seeing here in the first half of this championship game?
Well, Utah State's doing a great job creating offense with their defense. 15 points off of turnovers. Davidson's got to take care of the ball. That's really been the storyline of this game so far.
I agree with you, Hawk. You got to play ahead of that defense. You got to get clean stops and then play ahead of the defense. And when you're playing against that set Utah defense, you've got a hard basket cut. You go away and they're just going to switch. If not, you're going to turn it over and they're going the other way.
Back at Charleston off the inbound, they were up against the shot clock, and so all they could get was a corner 3 attempt by Tucker Anderson, and it hit the side of the backboard.
Yeah, to Coach Greenberg's point, and it's a good one, it was in the game plan. you know, the matchup zone, they switch everything to Coach's point. And so, you know, you got to slip to the basket, those violent cuts that you brought up at the start of the game. We just haven't seen that. And part of it is Utah State is so precise in their switching. They are not loose with it or lazy with it at all.
Devin Brown fights his way inside for two.
It's a little bit of fight you got to see. You got to match the physicality of Utah State. Roberts Blooms has done that. Who else is going to get on board? Nice move there by Devin Brown.
Utah State has led by as many as 12, led by that guy, M.J. Collins. That's better offense to find the open man on the wing.
And Jared Calhoun was not happy with Luke Keller being that, or Zach Keller rather, being that far off of a perimeter shooter.
Well, you mentioned Coach Calhoun in his second year as the head man at Utah State. I mentioned his connection to Coach Huggins. He was on a staff at Cincinnati under Hugs with Andy Kennedy and Mick Cronin, and then followed to West Virginia as part of their Final Four staff. Three-point bucket is good by Perryman. A lot of options for Coach Calhoun.
He's going to be a good player, Elijah Perryman, playing a lot as a freshman.
Brown hammered, +1. The foul on Zach Keller.
Again, Jared Calhoun did not want his defensive players leaving perimeter shooters. Watch him on the sideline go bananas on Zach Keller. That is not executing the scouting report. He's a heck of a coach. I have a lot of respect for Jared Calhoun. You can see how locked in his team is already. And a lot of it having to do with the two veteran guards that he has. Mason Falslev, Drake Allen, both of them 24 years old. They're both married, and they are the emotional leaders of this team.
Well, Chris Davidson has picked it up offensively, has made its last 4 shots after missing 12 of its first 19. Under 2 minutes to go here in the first half. What was a 12-point lead is down to 6. Collins rising up, and he stays red hot. 16 points for the senior from Clover, South Carolina.
He is really feeling it. He's got a confident bounce to him.
Brown, good pass inside, bring it back outside. Brown, Devin Brown, back to Sam Brown, and here comes Drake Allen. He is 10th in the nation at over 7 assists per game. Good hustle by King to keep possession. Here's Collins again from the left side. Nothing but net.
Somebody better find M.J. Collins. He has been wide open.
The miss by Sam Brown, corralled by Drake Allen. Under a minute to go. And Allen goes, and he'll head to the free throw line. Boy, it doesn't take long for the Aggies to get from one end to the other.
No, you said it. They convert. And that's really, you know, that's what's really hurt Davidson. They have gotten consistent stops in the half court, although M.J. Collins has gone on a personal run here over the last couple minutes. But it's been the turnovers and the runouts and the easy baskets in transition that have really created this differential.
Sam Brown committed the foul, his second, that has Allen at the line. Fredrickson and Koval will return for Davidson, as will Falslev for Utah State. Out goes Tucker Anderson. Sam Brown and Roberts Blooms are those who check out for Davidson. Utah State has won 17 November games in a row, 10 in a row in neutral site games during the regular season. Looking for their 4th MTE championship in 5 years. Devin Brown One and done at this end for Davidson. The Wildcats get back and set up defensively with 30 seconds to go in the half. Timeout, Aggies. Well, Falslev has not scored in over 14 minutes, but it hasn't mattered because M.J. Collins has picked up the slack.
It has not mattered. He is a pure scorer, and look how open he has been on a lot of these threes. I mean, a mistake on the under out of bounds, decent contest there, but he's allowed to catch, just wide open. At some point, I mean, if we're in a pickup game and a guy is feeling it like M.J. Collins, we're all looking around saying, hey, man, guard that guy.
Yep. Well, he should be comfortable in this building and shooting on these rims. Third time in 4 years he has been in this field at the Charleston Classic. First for Virginia Tech, last year for Vanderbilt. And when we asked him yesterday, was it part of your decision to come to Utah State because you knew you'd come back to your home state? And he laughed and he said, no, I didn't know until after I'd committed. But he is happy to be back in the Palmetto State with lots of friends and family coming down from Clover. A little over a 3-hour drive, and MJ with a big smile on his face, and you can tell the friendship that he has developed with his teammates and his coaching staff. Very happy to be here, and he's hoping he might be able to get a 5th year next year and stay in Utah State. Here's Collins, foul down the 3. Koval picks up the personal.
You love the call by Matt McKillop out of the timeout, coming out in a 1-3-1, because you assume Jared Calhoun had drawn something up against man, and just a bad foul.
Coach McKillop beside himself after the second foul on Koval.
Well, and he must not, clearly doesn't think that was a foul. I have to disagree. I thought Koval fouled him.
And so Michael Anthony Jerome Collins Jr. at the line shooting 3.
You know, Matt McKillop needs some of his players to have the fight that he has on that sideline. I mean, you look at the body language, and it's just, there's no fight. You know, some of these, they're catching it, shooting it's an afterthought. We were talking about violent cuts. I mean, some of these drives, you got to violent drive it in there. You got to drive it like you mean it. I think that's going to be a big part of the halftime talk for Matt McKillop is, do we belong here or not?
For the 4th time in 6 games already this season, M.J. Collins has gone for 20 or more. He's up to 22 tonight. And a turnover on the inbound will give the Aggies another chance before halftime. Davidson is facing its largest deficit of the season, down by 16. Allen makes it 18. The half-court heave is no good, and Utah State imposes its will on Davidson in the first 20 minutes.
They sure did. That was a clinic from a team in Utah State that is a tournament team. They are locked in, and they bullied Davidson in that first half.
48-30 in this championship game. We go back to the studio now with Seth Greenberg and Malcolm Huckabee. Take it away, Zubin Mehenti. You're watching ESPN's Feast Week presented by Lowe's. We are here at TD Arena for the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic, the championship game of the Low Country bracket, as we head to the second half. Utah State on top by 18. And welcome back, everybody, to Charleston. Along with Chris Patola, I'm Doug Sherman, and the Aggies put on a clinic on both ends of the floor. They made 16 buckets, had 11 assists, and they forced 11 turnovers.
Yeah, this is a Darwin game. When Charles Darwin was gallivanting across the Galapagos Islands, he came to one massive conclusion. Big turtle, eat little turtle. Bigger, faster, tougher wins. And that was the first half. Utah State overwhelmed Davidson with their harder playing, they're more athletic, and they were the tougher team.
Well, M.J. Collins apparently is the biggest turtle in the sea at this point. He is 22 points. He and Drake Allen have combined for 32 points. Between them, they have outscored Davidson's entire team.
Yeah, and defensively, you know, Drake Allen and Falslev wreaked havoc. I mean, they have 9 steals, 7 between the two of them.
Templin makes it a 20-point game. Have you been to the Galapagos?
Not yet. I want to, though, clearly.
My brother's been, and my mom went. Unbelievable. You know what? We have not barely called Josh Scovin's name at all for Davidson, and when you're looking for toughness,
yeah,
he's the guy I would think they'd look to.
Yeah, it's a great point, Doug. I mean, he bullied Boston College yesterday.
In that game, the Wildcats beat BC 59-49. That's the fewest points allowed against a major conference opponent in nearly 26 years for Davidson. They've not been able to impose their will at all so far here tonight.
Outside of Roberts Blooms, you know, he showed some toughness, some grit, some production in that first half. Nobody else really has.
Templin working on Logan. Completely bottled up. And now with under 5 to shoot, Allen just goes right to the bucket and lays it in. Seems as simple as that for Utah State. Collins nearly had a steal and what would have been another breakaway dunk.
Yeah, I mean, these guards are feasting. Like, they feel like they can just kind of get where they want, do what they want. Sean Logan just caught flat-footed. The experience of Utah State has really shown up here today.
Sam Brown with the basketball. The grad transfer from Penn. Manny Joseph missed the 3. I say grad transfer. Sam Brown's only a junior. I beg your pardon. Spent a couple of years at Penn. Was all Ivy League. Here's Mason Falslev. Gave a good feed to Templin, who had to gather before laying it in.
Well, a good play out of that. You know, Davidson, they hard show, so they're keeping 2 on the ball. Good roll, hard roll by Templin, and a really good pass.
Sean Logan, no. Good contest at the rim by Tucker Anderson. Fredrickson comes up with the ball. Here goes Scovins into the lane. Little running hook shot is good. First 2 points for the junior from Greensboro. Scovins, the takeaway. Sam Brown gives it back to Scovins. The Euro. And he's starting to pick up the intensity for Davidson.
You called it, Doug. I mean, you said it. It's a great point. He was absent in the first half. He's an important part of this team. And some of that toughness that we're asking for from Davidson typically comes through Scovins.
And you know, Scovins did not have foul trouble. Played 10 minutes in that first half. 1 rebound, no shot attempts. Had a turnover, a couple of steals, just non-existent. Uncharacteristically for him. After the second foul by Tucker Anderson, Scovins makes the second free throw.
A little pressure here from Davidson, trying to change up the tenor of this game with their defense.
If nothing else, they make Utah State work to get it in the front court and chew up time that they don't have in the half court. Still, they get a good look. Anderson, no. Into the game, Clark tries to save it. Taken away by Plateo, and here comes Devin Brown. Both of these teams 5-0 to start the year. Brown hounded by Falslev. It goes out of bounds back to the Aggies.
They never relax on the ball. Like Brown there, he was ready to back it out, thinks he's going to be able to take a breath, and Falslev is not allowing that.
And again, when you combine the athletic ability of Mason Falslev with the want to, he's an absolute menace.
No question.
Here goes Falslev. Kept the pivot, let the defenders leave him, and he scores again. Only 4 points for the junior from Benson, Utah, but his imprint is all over this game. On cue, another steal.
Just so good at anticipating where is the next most likely pass going.
How much of what they do defensively is by design, and how much of it is ad-lib by the individual player?
I think it's a combination. It's a good question. I think Jared Calhoun, clearly with some of their random doubles and how active they are in that matchup, that's coached. But he also knows who he's dealing with here in a Drake Allen and a Mason Falslev.
Collins pokes it away. On the floor first was Drake Allen.
Wow. I don't know about that.
While they sort it out, we'll take a break and back to Charleston after this. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. The relentless defensive pressure of Utah State, as always, led by Mason Falslev.
Well, a big part of their matchup, Doug, is how good they are on the ball, but so much of their defense is what they're doing off of it. And these two guards, it is a weapon to have two guards who have the number of steals that these two guards have, Drake Allen and Mason Falslev, in the 2 games just here in Charleston. What a weapon for Jared Calhoun in that defense.
Well, whatever money was spent in NIL to make sure Mason Falslev came back is well worth it. Rebound by Drake Allen. And as you mentioned earlier, Mason, one of 2 married players on this Utah State roster. He was married over the summer. His wife is Elle. And apparently, a couple of years ago, when the Utah State head coach Danny Sprinkle left to go to Washington, on April Fool's Day, Mason said to his then fiance, "You know what? I'm leaving Utah and following Coach up to Seattle." I don't know how long he left her on the hook, wondering, but Elle finally figured out, or her future husband let her know, "Yeah, it's just April Fool's Day. I'm not going anywhere." And apparently Elle did not make the trip. Neither did Drake Allen's wife. But they are allowed to travel under NCAA rules for these players who happen to be married. And they do make regular trips with the Aggies.
It's good to see the NCAA supporting a good marriage.
Why not?
Why not?
I'm all in support of that as well. Plateo makes the pass on the backdoor cut. And what do you know? It's Hunter Adam with the backdoor cut.
It's another name we haven't said much tonight. Davidson's leading scorer.
Allen, Collins, now Falslev. Devin Brown trying to stay with him. Allen, skip pass. Good look by Tucker Anderson. Rolls home.
And that was with a really good contest by Hunter Adam. But the size was able to shoot up over the top of Tucker Anderson.
That was a Lahaina Civic Center kind of roll.
The softy rims, the softy softs.
Here at the home of the Cougars of the College of Charleston. Members of the CAA. Koval, nice feed inside. Devin Brown was fouled to the chagrin of Tucker Anderson. The 6'9" junior from Centerton, Arkansas, picks up the personal foul. That's his 3rd.
It's one of those games where you become very humbled if you're Davidson, because on Friday night, I don't know if you would agree, with a more athletic bigger Boston College team, Davidson kind of bullied them. They were the harder playing team. Their defense in the second half against BC imposed its will. And then you run into another level tonight against Utah State that can be a bit of a humbling experience.
Yeah, when you see Davidson beating a ACC team, by profile, you figure they must have shot the lights out, but they only were 5 for 20 and yet still beat the Eagles. Colby King back into the game for the first time here in the second half with the rebound. Also, the freshman point guard Elijah Perryman. Here's Perryman. 10 on the timer. King steps back. Bloom's got a hand in his face. What do you know? Gary Clark there to pick it up and put it in.
Just always around the ball. And he's coming off of the bench. I mean, that's the most impressive thing about Gary Clark. He's coming off of the bench, as productive as he is, and he doesn't say a word about it. Has not said one word about that to Jared Calhoun.
Well, you got to figure he's got such an appreciation for being on a team and in a program that his coach Jared Calhoun says can win a national championship. And so if you are Gary Clark, who started at junior college, went to Tarleton State for a year, spent the last 2 years at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, this is the big time for him. He appreciates his role. King blocked. He wanted the foul, doesn't get the whistle. Nick Koval's had a quiet night for Davidson. Devin Brown misses with the left hand. Halslev called for it on the entry pass, kind of a bailout. Devin Brown gets the foul. As I'm not sure, Brown gets his first foul. I'm not sure Gary Clark could have fielded that pass cleanly.
Well, it felt like Clark was already off balance as the ball was on its way to him.
J.Q. Roberts makes his return, number 24 for Davidson. Hey, we should mention an announcement has been made that Steph Curry, the greatest all-time Davidson Wildcat, will attend their home game on December 30th against Duquesne. That's because the Golden State Warriors are going to be in Charlotte to play the Hornets the next day. And so anytime Steph has an opportunity to come back, where he is now the assistant GM for the basketball program, he always does. And so get your tickets now and an opportunity to meet Steph.
What are you working for the Davidson athletic department? I mean, what, make an announcement?
They asked me to give it a a little plug. Why not? What else would you want to do if you're a Davidson basketball fan on New Year's Eve? Then go watch these Wildcats and maybe get a chance to see the greatest shooter in the history of basketball. I don't know. I'd go. Hunter Adam, no. There's Steph. We talked about it on Friday as Roberts lays it in. Roberts was one of the guys who got the opportunity to not only go meet Steph Curry out in Palo Alto, California, but spend 3 days on a practice court with him, learning what Steph Curry and his training staff does on a daily basis. Boy, King's not the tallest guy, and he gets tied up, but he's not afraid to go in there and lead with a shoulder. On the alternate possession, the Wildcats will have it when we come back, but it's all Utah State tonight. Here's our Week 12 Monday Night Football matchup. Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers will host the Panthers. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the all-new ESPN app. With Peyton and Eli here on ESPN2, coverage kicks off with NFL Live at 3 Eastern, then Scott Van Pelt and the Monday Night Countdown crew at 6 o'clock Eastern. Roberts, Blooms, and the Davidson Wildcats trying to figure something out, coming back onto the floor, trailing 65-38. It has been a completely different feel around this Wildcats team from Friday night when they beat Boston College in the semifinals.
It sure has, night and day.
How much of that is the opponent, and how much of that is Davidson?
Or Boston College. I think that's the third part of the equation here. But I think most of this is Utah State. They are a tournament team. They're a seasoned team. Obviously, a tournament team last year. They're good.
That's a dozen for Hunter Adam. Roberts Blooms has 13 to lead Davidson. False left. Runs into a second defender. Gets rid of the basketball to find Collins for three. And that is his new career high. Utah State 68, Davidson 41.
It's been open gym today for MJ Collins. And how many clean catches, clean looks has he had from that corner?
And we spent, what, 15 minutes with him after practice yesterday as Devin Brown connects? Seemed like he was grinning from ear to ear the entire time.
Had his hair was blown out yesterday in the game on Friday. Went with the braids tonight. It might be the look with the way he has shot it.
Says the hirsute Chris Spatola. It's kind of in-depth analysis most of my partners don't bring you.
I am a hair guy, as you could tell.
Devin Brown continues to be proactive. He certainly has showed himself well. The freshman from Lewis Center, Ohio, out of Olatanji Orange High School, here this week. And at 6'6", 210, seems like he's going to be a factor all year for Davidson.
He's got a good way about him. Plays at a really good pace, hard to speed up, especially for such a young player. He's a Davidson type of a player. Knows how to play, versatile. You know, that's where you come into the year thinking you're going to play 12 guys, and you've been able to play 12 guys in these games. You know, I do wonder, as the year moves on, does there start to become some separation between your roster, and are there guys for Matt McKillop that you start to say, all right, these guys have to play more? Like, for example, Roberts Blooms is one of those guys. He's got to be on the floor.
And if he gets more minutes, that's minutes away from somebody else. I mean, we haven't seen much of R.J. Greer. He's another freshman who looks like he's another Davidson type of guy, shoots the heck out of the ball. Yeah. But we haven't seen much of him tonight.
Yeah, Plateo's got to play more. Like, I think you've got to get that guy run. Stovins needs to be on the floor. Hasn't been his best game tonight. And then you let these other guards, you know, Fredrickson, Koval, Brown, you let these guys figure it out between themselves.
Elamine with a poor pass, trying to feed the post. No chance to get it to Clark. By the way, Sam Brown just picked up his third foul for Davidson. Here's Parker Fredrickson, just taken away by MJ Collins.
It's a Darwin game. Charles Darwin.
Adam lays it in, give him 14. Collins with 27 to lead everybody. Got a couple of dunks, a handful of threes. False left. Strong drive and finish with that right hand. He had 24 in Friday's win, only 6 so far tonight. But as I mentioned earlier, he seems to be in the middle of most everything that's good for Utah State. Over and back, that pass took Perryman over the timeline, and so Davidson gets the basketball back.
You know, this is the ball handling issue. I mean, just exposing it in front of Collins, who was laying in wait. The turnovers and the ball handling issues for Davidson are real. They are real. They were real at the end of the Bowling Green game. They were real at the end of the Charlotte game, especially against full court pressure.
Blooms. Perryman keeps Blooms on his hip. Shovel pass Clark, and he just couldn't hang on to it. And a foul is given as Devin Brown secured the basketball for Davidson. So now that we see a blueprint in how to get after Davidson and turn them over, I immediately turn my thoughts to the Atlantic 10 Conference and the preseason favorite VCU. You know, if you want to make that move up the A-10, Davidson was picked 11th in the preseason poll. I think they're better than that. Certainly what we saw on Friday indicates that. But VCU and the other teams, I'm sure, going to break down this tape and say, we got to go after it.
No question. And I think the blueprint, there's certainly ball pressure and pressure in general, but defending the three-point line. You know, Davidson, they have not shot it well here in Charleston. And part of it is you've seen two teams take away the attempts. They have not, Davidson has not gotten clean looks against bigger, more athletic teams.
Jordy Barnes has come into the game for the first time, a sophomore from Holiday, Utah. He's a legacy. His father, Matt Barnes, played for the Aggies back in the late 80s and early 90s. And Jordy wanted to be an Aggie so much he showed up on campus without a scholarship, but earned one by the time that freshman season got underway. He's defending Devin Brown. Adam to the free throw line, kicks to the corner. Roberts buries the three. First 3 points for the junior from Bloomington, Indiana.
They've been able to get him a lot of run tonight.
Drake Allen to the corner. Collins. Devin Brown dumps it off. Scovins missed the reverse. Allen on the switch. Now being defended by Roberts. Collins hunting that three again. He is feeling it.
It's a decision where J.Q. Roberts, you've got to stay off of the shot fake, which M.J. Collins has used brilliantly here in Charleston, rather. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I figured you knew once you heard it come out. That's not right.
I did. It's a great film, by the way. But anyway, we got to stay with M.J. Collins. Somebody's got to find M.J. Collins.
Well, they haven't found him enough tonight. He's got 30 points, blowing away his previous career high. And again, he's done it from inside out, both ends of the court.
Here in Charleston. Wonderful shot fake, and JQ, you got to stay with the guy who has lit it up tonight. Super wet.
Introducing Verts. Swipe for news and highlights. Now available on the ESPN app.
We're so glad you're with us back in Charleston, South Carolina with Chris Patola. I'm Doug Sherman. The Aggies, Chris, are shooting 71% from the floor in the second half, 12 of 17. And while they've certainly gotten their share at the rim, they continue to make three-point shots as well. Just a really well-rounded team and a tremendous performance that we've seen here this weekend.
Well said. And kind of an alarm bell for the rest of the Mountain West.
Yeah. San Diego State was the unanimous choice in the preseason.
Oh, my word.
Stay hot. M.J. Collins, 33 for the senior from Clover. He has come from the upstate to the low country and just lit it up here tonight. Scovins bottled up, and a foul goes against Utah State.
He's got a beautiful release, too, M.J. Collins. Good lift on his shot and a beautiful release.
Third foul on Drake Allen. Yeah, M.J. Collins has been a revelation offensively for Utah State. I don't think Jared Calhoun and his staff ever imagined the offense they've gotten from Collins. They knew he had more in him, but he's gone for 20 or more points in 4 of their 6 games.
Yeah, wow.
Nick Koval. His first 2 points come in the lane. Came in averaging over 10 points per game. Love that communication. Carson Templin, standing at the free throw line, knew that with the third string point guard Jordy Barnes in, he said, wait for it, making sure they got the right call, get into the right set, find the right man. That's MJ Collins now with 36 points. Here is R.J. Greer around and out on the three-point try. Collins begging for the basketball. But Colby King says, let's walk it up. What's it like to be MJ Collins right now?
I was just going to say, there is no better high, and I believe me, I've never shot it that well. There's no better high than when you are feeling it like he is feeling it right now. That flow state is what it's all about.
Well, you didn't score 1,500 points at Army without getting on a couple of heaters. Scovins, couple of attempts, giving up a lot of size in that matchup. Carson Templin, every bit of 6'9", 230.
To the point where if you're Jared Calhoun, do you get 40? Like, when else are you going to score 40 in your life?
I think he's thinking the same thing. 82-52. 4 minutes to go in this championship game of the Low Country bracket. Clemson won the other championship earlier today, taking the Palmetto bracket title by beating Georgia, and Utah State closing in on being the other champion here this weekend.
And Jared Calhoun's got Mason Falslev ready to come back in. You say in a 30-point game, why? My goodness.
Well, he's one away from 40.
The net rewards differential. And so the more you beat a team, the better the net will shine upon you. And this guy, talk about shining upon something.
He's in his home state and putting on a show.
He sure is. He is on a high, smoking hot. What a game.
We are just over 15 hours away from the start of the Southwest Maui Invitational at the Lahaina Civic Center. It'll get underway here on ESPN2 at 2:30 Eastern Time, with number 25 North Carolina State taking on Seton Hall. The rest of the field, the Trojans, the Broncos, Wazoo, Chaminade, and Arizona State and Texas. Should be a lot of fun as Feast Week rolls on. We are here in Charleston, South Carolina. Chris Spatola, Doug Sherman. The story is MJ Collins. I have to correct myself. He has 38 points. That last jump shot was a 2. He is 8 of 12 on three-point shots, 13 for 18 from the floor. Has made all 4 of his free throws for those 38 points. Sam Brown misses for Davidson. So the 38 points for Collins is tied for the most in a Charleston Classic game ever. He has tied. Well, now he's just passed Carl Jones of St. Joseph's 14 years ago. The young man from the Palmetto State has 40.
And now Jared Calhoun going to take him out.
Well, does anybody say 42? He gets an assist after the takeaway on the Colby King layup. And now time is called by Coach Calhoun to get some reserves into the ball game. 2:29 until the championship is decided here in Charleston. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere. MJ Collins has done everything in his return to the Palmetto State for the Aggies of Utah State. Just an incredible show.
It really has been. Look, he's been incredibly efficient all year. Over 50% from the field, over 40% from three. That number is going to go through the roof after today's game. He's an outstanding shooter of the basketball. Catch and shoot. He has shown you that here tonight. But he's really skilled. I mean, he's got a nice little shot fake. We saw the one dribble pull-up Friday night in that game. He put it on the floor to get that 40th point. Put it on the floor, finished at the rim. Look at him.
4-0. Well, he is no surprise. Our player of the game brought to you by Shriners Children's, our sponsor for this wonderful event here this weekend. We appreciate all of their time and efforts on behalf of the 8 teams who've had a great weekend in Charleston. The basket plus a foul will send Josh Scovins to the line. Well, I have been here in years past when Villanova was in its national championship mode and had 4 future NBA players on the floor at any one time. When Virginia was here on the verge of winning a national title with NBA players all over the court. I've not seen a better performance in this event. Not that I've been here every year by any stretch, but MJ Collins has put up something he'll never forget.
Yeah. Well, you know, we can get cynical about the transfer portal often, but there are a lot of real success stories. And, you know, again, MJ Collins, a role player at his previous stops, but believed he could play and be a major player on a roster and on a team. And he has found a very good situation, relationship with his head coach, and a good situation here at Utah State.
Scovins buries the triple. Yeah, Coach Calhoun told us either yesterday or when we talked to him on Friday about the fact that with the guys like MJ Collins and Colby King, who was on his 4th school, how important it is that he foster that relationship for guys who have bounced around. And so he meets with each of them. Here's King literally every other day to reinforce, we love you, we want you here. Kearney can shoot. Luke Kearney, the junior out of Phoenix, Arizona, has his first 3 points. Scovins tracks down the miss from Plateo. And the one guy who you could single out right from the start for Davidson was ready to go. Roberts Blooms will head back to the line with a chance to establish a new career high. How about this women's basketball matchup coming up on ESPN2 and the ESPN app? Tuesday, December 2nd, #1 UConn back in Tampa, where it just won its 12th national title in the spring. They've never lost to the USF Bulls. Wouldn't that be something if the upset was pulled? Either way, you can see it right here on ESPN2. Tuesday, December the 2nd. Coverage begins at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. Well, for Utah State, they don't come to the Eastern time zone all that much, but they are making 2 trips to the east within a couple of weeks. They'll be back in Tampa to play South Florida December 4th, and then come up to Charlotte to play a game as well. And they came a couple of days early to this one, got themselves acclimated with the time change, and they have acclimated themselves very well on the basketball floor.
Well, you can understand there aren't a lot of teams that want to play Utah State, you know, Power 4 teams, and so Jared Calhoun's had to get creative. You come and play in events like this, and you may have to come east to get those games, because for a program that's had this success and is this good, those high majors don't want to play Utah State.
They are about to win a multi-team event in November for the 4th time in 5 years. And again, for folks around the country who are not familiar, not in that part of the country, you don't get to stay up and watch Utah State as much as maybe you should But they have played very good basketball there for a very long time, and coaches may come and go, but they have sustained success in front of a rabid fan base in Loga, Utah. Head coaches meet at midcourt as the final seconds tick away. Utah State, the winner of the Low Country bracket at the 2025 Shriners Children's Charleston Classic.
What a performance. They put a punctuation, an exclamation point on this tournament, and MJ Collins, what a highlight night.
A tournament record 40 points for MJ Collins as Utah State improves to 6-0. They began last year 10-0 and just continue to show that they are going to be reckoned with in their final go round in the Mountain West Conference this coming season. They are one of the 5 teams that will leave the Mountain West and go to the new Pac-12 conference. And they are built for that. They're built for success right now. And Jared Calhoun has talked repeatedly about how when he interviewed for the Utah State job and left Youngstown State, he felt like this is a place I can be at for a long time and really win at a high level. As mentioned, he says we can win a national title with this program.
Yeah, well, they are firing on all cylinders. I mean, that's been the most impressive thing to me, Doug, watching them here in Charleston, is how sharp they are and how well they have executed their stuff, especially defensively, so early in the season.
And there you see the trophy presentation out at center court. All smiles. Mason Falsleb right in the middle of it. Drake Allen had another big game without putting up a ton of points. Those two are the two-headed head of the defensive snake that'll turn over any opponent. And then the pieces just really fit. And the guys who came off the bench played so well here in Charleston. And why not let MJ Collins take that trophy? A tournament record 40 points.
He's going to remember this. Of all his trips, his third trip to Charleston, the Charleston Classic, this is the one I think he'll remember the most.
No doubt about it. Want to give a special thank you to our entire crew. They have been working all 4 games today, worked all 4 games Friday. We appreciate your efforts, and we appreciate you staying with us here on ESPN2. Congratulations to Utah State, led by MJ Collins, 40 points. They win this year's title. For Chris Matola, I'm Doug Sherman. So long from Charleston, South Carolina.